As Joel mentioned, I've been asked to talk tonight about a part of our constitutional leadership that doesn't often get much attention. Of course, the Vice Presidency of the United States. And it's obviously part and parcel of the history documented here in this building because of George Gerald Ford's time in office. And as you all know, he was the first person ever appointed vice president under the 25th Amendment without having ever been elected to the office. And the first vice president to succeed to the presidency without having been elected in either office. He was also the last president to dump a vice president, and the only former president, at least in modern times, to think about going back to be vice president again after he left office. Fortunately for him, he decided not to do that. Now, that's rather surprising because being vice president, it was not always a happy experience for Ford. In fact, he used to say that it was the worst 9 months of his life, according to Dick Cheney, who was his second chief of staff and also a vice president himself later on. And, Ford wasn't the only one who thought so. I mean, being vice president sounds glamorous. You get the cars and the plane and the helicopter and all that. But most of the people, I think, who've served in that position ultimately found it very frustrating and unsatisfying. I've had the privilege of covering or interviewing 9 vice presidents, which is nearly 1 out of every 5 in our history, which makes me older than I think I am. But one of them summed it up rather pithily. This vice president told me, "It's a crap job." Except the word wasn't crap. It was a somewhat earthier version of that 4-letter word. One of them, actually, my favorite description of the vice presidency comes from Thomas Marshall, who was Woodrow Wilson's vice president. Nobody remembers him. He seemed to anticipate that. He used to say that there were once 2 brothers. One went away to sea, the other became vice president. Nothing was ever heard from either of them again.